Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, I have a story for you here today titled, My Fiancé Dumped Me Right Before Our Wedding. Now she is furious 5 years later that I have a younger wife. I always find these stories hilarious where you will have women who will throw away men because they think that they can do better, or because, you know, no other woman is going to want him, or he's always going to be a loser, only to find out that after they leave, the men actually do better. And then they try and come crawling back, or they end up really pissed off or really jealous because the man has a younger, more beautiful wife. Absolutely hilarious. But guys, before we jump into today's episode, just putting the announcement at the start of these videos, I have started a second channel. A lot of you guys have been asking where the TikTok reaction videos have been going, or why haven't I been doing them? And honestly, it's because I don't really like doing them. They give me a headache. So I have started a second channel, which will be linked in the pinned comment, where I will be easing back into it, doing one video a day. That way I can just keep this channel consistent, you know, all the content the same, just doing some articles in the meantime, while I get used to the terrible content that is women on TikTok. So let's jump into this story here. It's a 35-year-old man, and it's saying he reflects on the crushing heartbreak of being dumped just before his wedding. 5 years later, he is happily married to someone younger who is more supportive and genuinely loving, only to find his ex-fiancée spiraling with bitterness and regret after seeing the life that she walked away from. I've noticed a lot of guys do this, right? Where they'll have some Western wife who's absolutely horrible to them, treats them like trash, thinks that she can do better. And these guys, right, they get a divorce from their wife, or their wife leaves or whatever, their fiance leaves, and then they end up just going to like the Philippines and getting like a Filipino wife who's actually feminine. I find those stories to be absolutely great, guys, because like you compare the quality of the woman and it's just night and day. I have not gone traveling to the Philippines, but from what I understand, the quality of women is quite different in general, right? Obviously, you're still going to have a lot of bad eggs, but at least over there, they seem to be more feminine. Anyway, let's jump into the story here. I'm a 35-year-old male now. This story started when I was 30 and engaged to a woman that I will call Rachel, who was 31 at the time. We had been together for almost 4 years. We met through friends, hit it off, and spent our 20s building a life together. She moved into my place a year in, and everything pointed towards marriage. Okay, so this dude sounds like he has a house. The woman moves in. Typical stuff, right? 31-year-old woman, assumedly looking for a retirement plan. He says, by year 3, I proposed. She said yes through tears. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. We had planned a beautiful wedding, he says. Guest list, venue, catering, dress, all of it locked in. I'd put down deposits on everything, and we were about 10 days out when it happened. She came home from work and just said, I cannot do this. Right, okay. So woman calls up the marriage, says that she can't do this, and wants out. Usually what this means is that she's seeing another dude, or she doesn't really want to quite give up the streets just yet, okay? Again, you've got to understand, guys, you know, this woman's 31 years of age. She has spent a good few years from 18 to whatever the age is. I can't be bothered doing the math right now. But she has spent a good number of years having multiple boyfriends, I would assume, going through a bunch of dudes. This is usually the case, right? Not always, but usually that's what women do throughout that age. And now that she's 31, a lot of them don't really want to give up the streets, in my opinion. So for whatever reason, she has decided that she cannot simply do this. There was no warning, no big argument leading up to it. I thought things were solid. I asked her what she meant, and she gave me vague, confusing answers. Okay, here we go. She says, I don't think I'm ready. I need to figure out who I am. I feel like I'm living someone else's life. Okay, yeah, so there's the confirmation. She needs to go hook up with more dudes. She doesn't want to be locked into a marriage because she's not ready yet, guys. You know, she needs to figure out who she is. Again, whenever women mention like this soul-searching language, like they need to, you know, become spiritually enlightened, they need to go on some self-exploration journey. What it really is just a journey to the bedrooms of different men. That's all that means, guys. Like, I translate this every time. It doesn't matter how the language is kind of jumbled up. It doesn't really matter what words they choose to insert. The general theme is they need to go on some esoteric journey, and it just means that they want to be with other men. So she packed a bag, went to stay at her sister's. Just like that, 4 years went down the drain. I had to call guests, cancel plans, and explain to my parents, who had flown in early, that the wedding was off. That's really quite sad, man. Really, really quite sad. A lot of the parents, you know, a lot of these older generations, they still believe in marriage, right? They still want to see their sons and daughters go off and get married. They think that it's a great idea. And for a lot of these parents, it's quite honestly, I would assume, on their bucket lists, really. You know, oh, my daughter or my son is getting married. You know, they've got the career, they've got the house, and so the parents can kind of rest easy. So this is sad, in my opinion. You know, the parents were probably thinking, it's good, my child is progressing further in life, quote unquote progressing, but in reality, the woman just calls it off because she wants to go hook up with dudes. Now, I will say, guys, I'm not against the idea of marriage. I'm really not. I just think it's a scam for men, which is very, very sad. Because it essentially just completely ruins the idea of a nuclear family, which is a discussion for another time. He says, then came the financial side. I lost thousands on non-refundable deposits, not to mention the emotional hit. I couldn't eat for days. I was humiliated, confused, and angry. A few weeks later, a friend slipped up and mentioned that Rachel had been hanging out with a guy from her gym. Apparently, it wasn't new. She had been talking to him for a while. Whether or not it was physical before the breakup, I'll never really know. But emotionally, she was already gone. Let me just save this guy. I mean, he probably already knows now, I guess. But this was physical the whole time. You know, guys will try and be like, oh, maybe it was just emotional. Maybe they were just talking. No, this guy right here is probably one of the few reasons why she wanted to end the marriage, because she wanted to go hook up with dudes like this, and she probably already was. You know, I think it's better to just rip the band-aid off and understand that the women are going out here and hooking up with these guys, and that is the reason why the marriage didn't actually go through. She tried to justify it later, claimed it wasn't serious, said she just needed someone to talk to, and instead insisted that she wasn't trying to hurt me. But she still left me holding the bag. While I was sorting through cancelled wedding RSVPs and refund forms, she was flirting her way through a healing phase with someone new. Yep, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. It took about a year to truly bounce back. I threw myself into business, started focusing more on fitness, traveling, and surrounding myself with friends who actually cared. That's when I met Emily. She was 21 when we met. Yes, younger, but not immature. She was in her final year of uni, working part-time, and already had more intelligence than most people twice her age. Really? Guys, are men using the words emotional intelligence nowadays? Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just getting, you know, crazy. But I think this is such a stupid phrase. Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? I swear we are just throwing random adjectives after the word emotional or emotion, you know, these days. I didn't think men actually said emotional intelligence. Anyway, so she's, you know, in uni, working part-time, etc. He says, I wasn't looking for anything serious at first, but it happened naturally. She was kind, grounded, and genuinely supportive. You see, look, these are way better attributes than someone who's outgoing and who lights up the room and who's very confident and ambitious. These are way better attributes for women to have if they're looking for relationships. You know, kind, genuinely supportive. I don't really know what the hell grounded is supposed to mean, but genuinely supportive, kind. As a woman, these attributes will get you a long way. They really will. The connection wasn't rushed. In over 2 years, we built a relationship rooted in honesty and shared values. We got married last year. I'm now 35. She's 26, and we are genuinely happy. She knows everything about my past. I never hid it, and she never once made me feel like baggage. Last month, I went to a friend's birthday party. I hadn't seen Rachel in nearly 5 years. She was there and alone. When she saw me, she gave me that forced smile people give when they're trying to act unbothered. I gave her a polite nod and moved on. Later, mutual friends told me she had spent most of the night asking about me, asking if I was really married, asking if Emily knew our past. One person told me she scoffed and muttered, of course he married someone younger. Oh, she's not happy. Oh, she's pissed. She's pissed. Anyway, 2 days later, she DM'd me on Instagram. Didn't expect you to move on that fast. Hope you're just not pretending to be happy. This woman is getting passive aggressive with this guy in the DMs. Why would you not just block her right after she doesn't want to marry you, by the way? I never understand these people who keep these people around, who just treat them terribly. Even as like a follower or a friend on social media, just remove them, man. Block their asses. Funny how men always replace you with a younger model like it's an upgrade. I mean, she kind of did get upgraded. If anything, guys, just purely on a personality basis, it looks like. He says, you ended things, remember? I respected your choice, now respect mine. She blocked me right after. Real mature. That's so funny. The truth is, I think Rachel thought I would always be waiting, that I would be emotionally stuck while she found herself, that maybe I'd grow up and become more emotionally available for her to circle back to later. But I didn't. I learned what real partnership looked like, and I built something new with someone who didn't need to destroy me to find herself. She is still single, from what I hear. Her gym guy fizzled out quickly, and the dating pool hasn't been kind. Her social media is full of vague quotes about self-love and choosing peace, which usually translates to I'm unhappy, but pretending I'm not. That is hilarious. I just love how passive-aggressive, by the way, this woman slides into this dude's DMs. And, like, for what? You know, for what? I would have blocked this woman immediately, man. Absolutely. Like, before she even got to this marriage, before she even got to this message, she should have been blocked years ago. And notice how she's pulling out the men card. Men will always replace you with a younger model like it's an upgrade. Notice how, by the way, the dude didn't say anything. He didn't say anything about replacing her. He didn't seem to put forward aggression towards her, but she's just not happy, man. Hilarious. We're going to be leaving today's episode there. Guys, don't forget to check out the second channel if you are interested. I'm going to leave it again linked in the pinned comments, so make sure you go and check that out. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.